Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello all, and what is going on? Happy Friday to you all. This is the Club of the Man 1993 here for another review of AEW Dynamite. This is the June 7th, 2023 edition of Dynamite, and it took place in Colorado Springs as we are still on the road to AEW's Forbidden Door 2. We had two dream matches announced this past week for Forbidden Door 2. Which will be Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Championship, and Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. As of now, I would like to think that should be the main event for Forbidden Door, Bryan and Okada. As I said before, I will watch Forbidden Door 2, but like last year for the first Forbidden Door, I'm not going to do any preview and predictions for them, because again, this is going to be still me treating it like a treat. Like for me to be able to see some other wrestlers with wrestlers I know wrestle. I still don't know like most of these New Japan guys that well. Again, the one that I keep saying that I've still gotten behind pretty well is Will Ospreay. I do really like Will Ospreay. And I know these other guys are good. Again, though, I haven't had a chance to get to know them yet. And again, that's still a little problem I'm having with AEW and this Forbidden Door pay-per-view. They're not building the matches in a way that's allowing me to get invested. Like someone like me who does not watch New Japan. Like my friend Joe, who watches like every wrestling promotion in the world, knows these guys. So I get why he's excited. And like I said, I think it's something unique to look at. I've heard of these guys before. Let's watch the match. But again, as I keep saying, they're not really giving me something to get invested in. Like, don't get me wrong, I know Kenny and Will had a great match at Wrestle Kingdom in January. But right now, with the build for this, I'm more so itching to see, like, Kenny versus Konosuke. Or do, like, a 5-on-5 match. By the way, are they doing Blood and Guts at all? Because I thought Blood and Guts was around this time. Or they could be delaying it, who knows. But, we'll have to wait and see, though. But, outside of that stuff, of course, this was still a pretty good show. I enjoyed it. We're a week and a half, well, now a week away from AEW Collision's debut, which I still plan on trying to watch the debut show, at least. I don't know if I'm going to be watching it religiously like I watch Dynamite, though. Like you say, I want to, especially if Punk is going to be on it. I just don't have the time. I'm afraid to get myself invested in another show and put more load on my plate. If I just end up being forced to do it, I might just have to make some adjustments to the channel, because I can't be doing all these shows in 1 week all the time anymore, guys. I'm trying to find some way to work this out. Again, the uploads are helping. Decent views on the uploads. I mean, I'd like to get more. But I just feel like, this might have to be the way I go for now. Because like I said before the other day, yesterday in my Raw review, which I meant to do this yesterday, but again, I tried to get some cleaning around the house done. I tried to also get the next two shorts for my 2018 Worst Matches version done. I got one done, almost finished the second one, but I got too tired last night. But I will be uploading probably 3 or 4 videos tonight. But as I said yesterday, it's like I want to back off a little bit. But it's hard because I'm invested in these wrestlers. Whether they're being booked great or not, I'm still invested. And again, Just Alex summed it up well. Even though there is a little bit of a toxic environment in the wrestling industry among fans, you still want to support them. So I'm going to continue to do so. But we're going to be, just doing the best I can. And especially also since we're also almost to 2,000 subscribers. But let's talk about Dynamite. Again, outside of my little, disclaimer about Forbidden Door. Again, I thought Dynamite was a pretty good show this week again. Had some, interesting things happen. Stuff, of course, with Konosuke, Takeshita. We had a promo with MJF and Adam Cole. But I'll have a nitpick about that feud, pick it though when we get to it. We had a great opening match for the International Championship. I thought they would maybe pull the trigger and put the belt on Orange Cassidy. On Swerve. Because he's on fire right now. Swerve is getting to a point where I think you gotta strike while the iron is hot. And I feel like Swerve is just hot right now. And also, the main event for the first episode of AEW Collision was announced. Which is going to be Samoa Joe teaming up with Switchblade Jay White and Juice Robinson versus FTR and, if I can channel my inner Tony Khan, CM Punk. Like, he'll just get that slight smirk on his face, and he'll just say as stiff as board and go, CM Punk. Basically, because he knows he got it in the bag. Even though, again, we'll see how people react to Mr. Phillip Brooks when he comes back. I still hope we do hear Punk speak at the first episode of Collision. Because I feel like if he does not speak at Collision, then there will be some backlash. He has to speak and clear the air. They didn't clear the air at all the whole time he was gone, until we were told for sure by Tony Khan he's coming back. I feel like though he's got to clear some air, because if not, it could hurt him. I don't want to see what happened with him happened the Velveteen Dream. Come back, they don't clear the air as to what the heck went on with, of course, his investigations, and his momentum just shot. He was nowhere close to being over like he was before. And of course, CM Punk knows how to get people talking. CM Punk, of course, is much better in a position than Velveteen Dream was, of course. But I'm just throwing it out there. He has to address something. Again, I think they added this match and had Punk wrestle because ticket sales still aren't doing great. Probably because it's on a Saturday. I'll be honest, that's not a good time slot for Collision. But we'll see how that goes. But got about 20 minutes till my fiance gets home. Let's roll because we do have some stuff to do tonight. But the show did open up again with Orange Cassidy versus Swerve Strickland. The final two, actually, in the Blackjack Battle Royale at Double or Nothing. Again, great match. Swerve really seems to kick it into a whole other gear when he has a stable. I am liking this Mogul Embassy. Because when it was just the Mogul affiliates, we haven't seen Parker Bordeaux and Trench for a while. But he's teamed up with him, Prince Nana, Brian Cage, several others. I'm digging it. This is making me think of when he started Hit Row. Which, again, if Swerve was able to come back to WWE, I think Hit Row would definitely be better. Again, because as my fiance calls them, Shit Row right now, they're just doing nothing but shit, unfortunately, WWE. They're not clicking without Swerve. But the Mogul Embassy, I'm digging it. Great back and forth match. Of course, Orange Cassidy, who is constantly defending that title. Even my fiance pointed out, she goes, why does every show start off with Orange Cassidy defending his title? I said, well, I appreciate that he's a workhorse champion, but more and more people are pointing out that it seems that as the title defenses continue to increase for Orange Cassidy, he starts to, get a little you can tell he's not trying to be a heel, but he's getting a little more desperate to defend his title. Like, the story of, like, is he starting to crack under the pressure as a workhorse champion? But, of course, we'll see where it goes. They're teasing several heel turns, I feel like, from some stars. Like him, Jungle Boy, people still think they're teasing a heel turn from. I still wonder if Darby's ever going to go heel soon. Because I keep hearing rumors about him and Sting having a match for Sting's retirement match. But I just don't know. Because they're really not going anywhere with that either. But we'll see. But yeah, some big babyface soon is going to turn heel. I just don't know if it'll be Orange Cassidy or not. But we'll have to wait and see. Great match. Orange Cassidy wins with an O'Connor roll and a handful of tights with some good back and forth drivers to retain the championship. Again, I thought they should have put the belt on Swerve there. But we'll wait and see. And next week, we're getting a match. Afterwards, we had the Mogul Embassy hit the ring and beat down Orange Cassidy. The lights go out. Lights came back on. And Sting and Darby are in the ring. And the Mogul Embassy is running back up the ramp. And next week, which is a pretty stacked card, we're going to be in in DC, where they are as, of course, the home of the first ever episode of Dynamite. Ironically, having that right before the first ever episode of Collision. But we're going to be getting an 8-man tag match. The Mogul Embassy versus Orange Cassidy, Sting, Darby Allin, and Keith Lee. We'll see how that goes. Can we please just finally, though, just like zone in on this Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland match? Because what is taking so long to get to that match? Like, it's really dragged getting to that match. But we have that. Then we also get Bryan Danielson making his entrance, and we get a recap of his challenge to Kazuchika Okada. And, of course, that match is official. We then had a 6-man tag with Blackpool Combat Club's Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta taking on Chaos's Chuck Taylor, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta. Another good match. The Blackpool Combat Club, they'll get the victory by submission with a sleeper hold from Mox onto Rocky Romero. But then afterwards, backstage, we have Hangman Adam Page and Young Bucks challenge the Blackpool Combat Club to a 6-man tag next week, which that's accepted as well. So we have that 8-man tag, that 6-man tag. We still got more announced for next week. And then Bryan accepts the challenge and says next week it'll be their last live TV experience because the Blackpool Combat Club will end them. Then, of course, we get a hype reel for Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door 2. And then we got the AEW World Champion, the man holding the Triple B, MJF. He comes out and he says he nearly killed himself when he found he was obligated to show up in Colorado. Because this place just sucks. There's no more competition from AEW. And he tells the crowd their mothers swallow and nobody is on the level of the devil. But then, boom! You know it's all about that boom! Adam Cole comes out. And MJF, though, interrupts his entrance. And this is a typical MJF, war of words promo, like shoot promos type to start a feud. He starts off by telling Cole, of course, previously his hero was CM Punk. And when Punk left in 2014, he thought his wrestling fan was dead. But then he flipped channels and came across Ring of Honor. And he thought Ring of Honor sucked. Until he saw Adam Cole. And he got hooked on Adam Cole. He watched Cole so much as he could, including for any indies, Ring of Honor, CZW, and then the Florida where he shocked the system as Shawn Michaels' handpicked guy. The best champion that promotion ever saw. And that is undisputed, referring to, of course, NXT. He was a mark for Adam Cole because Cole is that good, and he followed his footsteps, and he knew that in his heart that Cole would make the jump to AEW. and they'd have a feud of a lifetime because they're two generational talent. But he doesn't think the same guy showed up. He said, this guy showed up. What happened? He used to be the Panama Playboy. Now he's a Panama Game Boy. Sitting at home behind his computer looking like a virgin golem. And while Britt Baker keeps leaving the house with his balls in her purse. Uh-oh. And didn't you used to have the physique of a world champion? You're so frail that you make crack whores jealous. Yikes! And then some people say it's the company misusing Adam Cole, but they've done everything possible to make him look cool, while all they have to do to make MJF himself look cool is ring the bell, referring to a roasting promo between Adam Cole and Karrion Kross in NXT. He then reads off his own accolades. Greatest dog collar match of all time. Greatest Iron Man match of all time. Greatest fatal four-way of all time. He's the best professional wrestler on God's green earth. He's beaten every top guy these people thought were on his level, what makes Adam Cole think he'll be any different? But then he goes really low here. He brings up a nasty little rumor online that said that the reason he jumped to this company is because a certain guy in Titan Towers didn't think he had top guy potential. That individual's name, I was waiting for them to do something like, cover it up, but MJF, who claims he's a big fan, by the way, said on AEW TV, the second person I know to say Vince McMahon's name besides Max Caster. And yes, MJF said Vince McMahon. He points out that Vince McMahon did not see Adam Cole as a top guy. That's how you know the old man lost his marbles. He couldn't see top guy in Adam Cole. But now that he's toe-to-toe in his ring with Cole, he thinks Vince was right. Which leads to Adam Cole getting the microphone, and he roasted him back. First he tells MJF, is that all you got? You come across like a toxic social media troll. And there's a lot of things to comment on. He's going to brush over the Britt part because she knows she can beat the hell out of Max, which makes me want to see Britt and Max have a promo war like this. But he wants to know what's his obsession with other people's relationships. Because clearly, he understands that his fiance left him. Yikes. He can't keep a relationship to save his life. Yikes. And he thinks he's figured it out that MJF is a world-class douchebag. Yep, he's already fired the shots and he's hitting them right on the money on MJF here. And oh my gosh, we're not done yet. How can we not talk about his body? Max must bring that up because his body of work, which is untouchable. But you want to go down that road, how about they both go backstage and piss in cups and see who's natural and who isn't? Oh! Basically firing saying that MJF's on roids. You don't want that, do you? I thought so. Now Max. He appreciates him. He starts his career. But they're nothing alike. And those boys and girls in the back respect him. Yes, he's been a bad guy in the past, but as a human being, he is respected. MJF never has been respected at all. And they'd laugh in his face, and if he asked, MJF said he'll ask his money about it. But then MJF fires back and said, but it's tough talk coming from Keith Lee's manager, firing the shot about the rumor about that Vince McMahon was going to bring Adam Cole up, shave his head, call him Adam Boom, because, okay, MJF didn't say this, but the rumor was the plan for Adam Cole's call up to the main roster in WWE. He was going to shave his head, they were going to shave his head bald, they were going to call him Adam Boom because they didn't want him getting mixed up with Michael Cole, and they were going to make him Keith Lee's manager. He's going to be the Bearcat manager. Because Vince was so obsessed with that Bearcat gimmick. Which, once again, Keith Lee said he couldn't do because he needed a reason to be mad, mean, and intense. Literally to the point that I want people to beat the shit out of me. But anyways, Cole says he's created a false narrative because he's a coward of a champion. A real champ would tell him to shut up and fight, but he calls him a coward. And if Max takes one thing away from this conversation, that he won't fight because Cole is better than him, and they know it. And then MJF gets penalty. He's like, fine, we'll fight any day of the week and kick ass. Which I'm like, cool. But then towards the end of the show, when they're announcing all these big matches, they announce that next week we're going to get a world title eliminator match between MJF and Adam Cole. Ugh. I saw that, I'm like, ugh. It's very rare we've seen AEW put the world champion in a singles, or any champion, in a non-title singles match. I saw that, I'm like, I think they did that once when Britt Baker was champion. She fought Rio, and Rio beat Britt Baker. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, the match, yes, but I don't know what I feel about this being an eliminator match. A non-title match. Because I don't want to see, because MJF also, again, yes, you know, he doesn't wrestle much. His microphone skills, we all know, make up for him being the best heel in the company. The problem is, though, is he's had 3 matches this year with the world title involved, I believe. And he's had 4 matches this year. 2 of them were title matches. He won both those, of course. One of them, I think, was a non-title singles match with Konosuke Takeshita. And then the tag match with a team that was Sammy Guevara. He lost that. I don't want every non-title match with MJF to be a loss. So I think, if I'm being honest, it would be best if they went into a draw. I think they should have the match go to a draw to create that suspense that either man could have won. I think that's where it should go. I don't know if that will set up for a title match, though, at Forbidden Door. In fact, I'll be honest, I don't know who's going to fight for the world title at Forbidden Door. I also think it may have been just a tad bit too soon to put Adam Cole into the world title picture. Because I think Adam Cole should be somebody who could be considered to eventually take the title off MJF. And I think that has to happen right around the beginning of 2024. Because MJF's goal is to take the title with him in the bidding war of 2024. So, let's see where this goes. Again, the promo, I loved it. The setup, though, for the eliminator match next week, I'm a little concerned about that. But, we'll wait and see. AEW is not disappointing me too much yet. We'll see what happens. The Hardy Boys with Isaiah Cassidy are backstage, and basically they now own Ethan Page, and they're trying to make him drop the ego and make him a better man. Jungle Hook, which is Hook and Jungle Boy, took on La Facción Ingobernable, Dralistico, and Preston Vance in a tornado tag match. Pretty brutal match. There was some blood knocked open. Jungle Boy did hit a chair shot to the head, and Hook suplexed Preston into the tables. And it led to Jungle Boy eventually getting a snare trap from Jungle Boy on Dralistico for the victory. People are still saying that I think Jungle Boy may turn heel soon. There was a segment backstage later where Christian Cage and Luchasaurus beat up Brock Anderson to get into the head of Arn Anderson. So it looks like the Wardlow and Christian Cage feud isn't done. And some people are predicting that what this leads to Jungle Boy turning heel soon, because they've been teasing it off and on TV, and they have him rejoin Christian Cage and make them a heel stable. And Christian Cage being a TNT champion, which He would be a good TNT champion. I just hate when they keep putting the title and taking it off of Wardlow. Because like both him and Sammy are both now, what, 3-time TNT champions? And Wardlow had like one reign that was decent but could have been better. Cody by far had the best reign. Well, from a multiple-time TNT champion. Cody for sure. We had that. Konosuke Takeshita then squashed a jobber. And then afterwards, Don Callis gets on the microphone. Him and Konosuke are getting booed out of the building. He says basically the same thing that, about Kenny got everything he wanted because of Don, and everything is his fault, blah, blah, blah. All this, and that. And how Kenny's been a cancer completely. And you know what you do with a cancer? You cut it out, and he and his family are going to cut the Elite out of AEW for good. They haven't revealed if they're with the Blackpool Combat Club or not. We then had Kris Statlander defend her TBS title against Anna Jay. Pretty good match between the two of them. I definitely, again, am liking that Kris Statlander is finally kind of getting her spotlight as she deserves, and she's been in original as well. Just hopefully she stays healthy. She's had 2 knee injuries now. I hope so. But she retains the title in a good match. Again, we get the hype videos. We also are told that next week we're going to be having, I think, a fatal 4-way match on Rampage. I can't remember who's all in it. There's a fatal 4-way match on Rampage. Let me look it up really quick. AEW Rampage fatal 4-way for the number one contender for the women's championship next week on Dynamite. Where is it? I know Britt's in it. Okay, Britt Baker, Sky Blue, Nyla Rose, and Mercedes Martinez. Cool. But they're going to have a match on Rampage, and the winner, again, will face Toni Storm on next week's episode of Dynamite as well. Again, pretty stacked card. And then the main event was the match between Switchblade, Jay White, and Absolute Ricky Starks. The match was good. The ending confused me, though, because the Guns got involved. Why? I don't know, because someone suggested that it could have been because FTR kind of stuck his nose in this business with Ricky Starks and the Bullet Club Gold. But to me, it feels like that ship's already sailed with FTR and the Guns. And although they were decent transitional champions, I still really don't give much of a shit about them, if I'm being honest. So, I was confused by that. Not sure what that was, but basically they cost Ricky Starks the match, and Jay White gets the win. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I still think this is setting up in some ways. Well, honestly, though, the main event match of Collision could help set up. I'm pretty sure at Forbidden Door, we're going to get a tag match with Bullet Club Gold versus FTR, which actually could be pretty good. And there could be a chance we could see Bullet Club Gold win, which I'd be okay with. Which, again, I like FTR. I feel like, though, their high point, if I'm being honest, was when they had all the belts. I'd be okay with them dropping the belts to Bullet Club Gold, if I'm being honest. But, we'll see. And that was Dynamite. Again, a couple little things that I, nitpicked a little bit. Again, like the Guns getting involved at the end. The Eliminator match with MJF and Adam Cole. Wish we would have saved that for pay-per-view or for a title match, but we'll see what happens. I do, though, want to see Britt Baker have a promo war, though, with MJF. That would be freaking dope. But that's going to do it, guys. I do have to wrap it up here, so Jeff got to get going. But that is my review of AEW Dynamite. Gave it a B+. I thought it was a pretty good show. Like I said, I'm still waiting for a little bit more of a punch from them, but this was a little bit of an improvement from recent ones. The recent ones, again, were good, but you need to see a little punch in there. I feel like they could have a little more like oomph in it, and it'd be an awesome show. So we've had good to great for a while. Let's get to awesome, but we'll see. But guys, I'm going to check out now. Again, by the time this video is uploaded, hopefully I'll have my Raw review uploaded and numbers 5 and 4 for my 2018 shorts of worst matches of all time. Getting close to my 2023 version. I can't wait for that. Again, leave a guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. Also, give my Money in the Bank preview, my Money in the Bank match card, some views as well, because that one started off a little slow, the views, but I definitely want to get those match cards views again. So we will be getting to that as well shortly too. So guys, once again, slap a like on the video, subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at the Club of the Man 93, and also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. Have a great rest of your Friday evening, and do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself.